What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unplayable. We are going to talk about the rest of the Star Wars Unlimited spoilers that we have not yet talked about since our last spoiler video. And there's a distinct lack of Jay in this video, so we apologize for that. But I'll try to channel him at certain points as best as possible.
I'm trying to think like what a typical Jay take would be on a card where we're just face palming, like, oh gosh, okay. David's is easy. He just has bad takes, which I can't wait to fight you.
It's much easier to simulate David.
That's right.
Now, this is Jay. Here we go. No, listen. This is what you do.
That's good. That's good.
Go, yeah,
that's really good.
All right. Well, let's hit this first one. We've got Admiral Ackbar, and Admiral Ackbar is a ground unit. It is a 3-cost green and white, I guess. I don't know how we're going to say these aspects.
Green hero.
I think that makes sense. All right. So it's a green hero unit ground. I already said that, with 1 attack, 4 health, restore 1, and a cool ability. When played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in its arena. What do you guys think?
It's about time Ackbar got his Cummins here in this game.
Is it?
Yeah.
You were missing Ackbar this whole time?
No, I'm saying Ackbar in general in Star Wars games always feels like,
is it just kind of bad?
Poor Ackbar. Yeah, like he's trying.
He's here, but he's not here.
He's always caught in a trap.
That's fair.
You know, but Ackbar's springing the trap in this game.
He is springing the trap in this game.
Yeah. He's a brilliant strategist, and every game treats him as if he's a dummy.
That is true.
You know? And I like the fact that he shows up and he pops a couple guys in the head, and or one guy, I guess, but you know. And then he starts healing your base. He's not hitting hard, that's fine. He's just sitting back.
I like this card a lot. Like it's a very cool ability.
At 3, I think it's fine.
I think so. This comes from the FFG live stream where they talked about the command aspect, I'm pretty sure. And when they had that live stream, they mentioned that part of commands or hero commands identity is going wide. And so this really supports that theme, right? So you want to play a bunch of dudes and then blow something up.
Yep. It is funny because like if that's your goal, this isn't a turn 3 play, or I guess technically a turn 2 play.
True.
Because you're not wanting to waste.
But it goes really well with the next card that we're going to talk about, which we can move to now.
You might want to play Ackbar early so that he dies and he ends up in your discard pile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
so that you can bring it back with Home 1, which is a 8-cost space unit, also green and hero. It is a 7/7 with restore 2, and each other friendly unit gains restore 1. And restore stacks. So lots of healing. And the cool ability, when played, play a hero unit from your discard pile. It costs 3 less. This is one of the first legendaries we've seen. We saw Boba Fett, and we've seen this. I don't know if we've seen any other legendaries, but
the Vigilance.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And Command, I guess,
and
which
Command,
we'll see in a second. Yeah.
Mike, what do you think about this card?
This card is crazy. I hate when I see this on the opposite side of the table when you play it against me. But yeah, this card is wild. It's so much value for what it does. It can help you really get back into a game. I think the only question is, and we've seen now with another card that we'll see later, Sabine, we've played games where they can go by pretty quick, and getting to 8 resources might end up being a little tricky. But if you can get to 8, this is a pretty big bomb to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and giving your wide board restore 1, it's like if your opponent's neglected to maintain your board, just instant punishment.
Could be a ton of healing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's relevant right away, right? All of the other friendly units gain restore 1, so you can use those that turn to heal with them, and it brings something back from your discard pile. There are like very notable cards that cost 3 or less. You've got Ackbar, which we already talked about, which can immediately come in and deal at least 2 damage, right? Because, well, I guess 1 damage because they're in different arenas. But you also have stuff like the Wingguard, Cloud City Wingguard is how it is, who, you can get a quick Sentinel out, things like that.
Wing Leader. You got your Fleet Lieutenant, which allows you to attack with something else at +2. So you could kind of action stack a little bit, that you play that out of your discard, then that allows you to attack with another thing for +2 and restore 1 out of nowhere.
Yeah, so very cool.
Another thing, Home 1 and Admiral Ackbar are both rebels, so that works with the Leia leader that we saw. So you can really kind of quickly attack and also restore a bunch if they can't take care of this Home 1.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next card, which is Command. We alluded to this a second ago. Is a 4-cost double green card, and it is an event. It says choose 2 in any order. So similar to Vigilance. So we, we'll assume that there's 1 in every color. And this one is
safe.
The 4 options: give 2 experience tokens to a unit. A friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to a non-unique enemy unit. Put this event into play as a resource, and return a unit from your discard pile to your hand. What do we think about this one?
I really like
the
it.
ramp idea. Yeah.
Yep.
What 2 modes are you choosing most often?
Ooh, that's tough.
I think it's probably I don't know. I don't think the bottom one is happening a ton. I don't think the returning the unit is
definitely the least valuable.
Yeah. I like that it's there if you're, running low on cards for whatever reason. I think it depends when you play it. Like if you're playing this early, I could see getting into play as a resource. If you're playing this at 4, you're probably dropping this as a resource in addition to something else.
Yeah.
Just because you're trying to ramp. If it's late game and it's like you already got a bunch of stuff, you're probably doing the 2 experience tokens and
then dealing
the damage.
Yeah. It's cool. Green so far doesn't have that much other interaction, right? So, outside of Overwhelming Barrage, which is insane, but it feels almost like another Overwhelming Barrage, right? So, and for 1 cheaper, it's like fairly similar, right?
Yeah, but the difference is Overwhelming Barrage you can spread out over lots of units.
True.
This is just one big boom.
You can still hit a leader with this though, which is nice. So your opponent drops.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. Non-unique enemy unit. That makes it a lot.
Has come up
exciting.
A lot in the games I've played. Honestly, like there's times I'm looking at a fully unique board. It's like, well,
yeah, can't do much with that.
Looks like we're ramping and giving 2 experience.
I think this is worse than Vigilance. I think Vigilance is like better more often.
Right now, I do like Vigilance more than Command,
but it's still cool.
I feel like the punishment for going double green with the deck building. It's hard for me to think like, oh, this makes me really want to try an all green deck. Or I think some of the other ones, like
I actually think I agree. Like I'm not playing double green just to play this card, whereas I might play double blue just to play Vigilance right now.
So would you ever pay 6 for this card?
I don't know. I mean, like one thing I will say is that you can't really underestimate putting this event into play as a resource in general.
Yeah.
Because getting your leader out early is massive.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference in its power level, right? Yeah, I don't know. I have some mixed feelings about this card in general.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Would I pay 6? Because I've paid 6 for Vigilance plenty of times. Would I pay 6 for Command when I could, maybe pay... Well, if I'm running Villain, 5 for Overwhelming Barrage or 7 for... I'd rather do that. But maybe that's not fair to compare everything to Overwhelming Barrage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe we'll need to see more cards that make you want to play this.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But, all right. In the meantime, we've got the next card, which is a 2-cost event, also green. Prepare for takeoff. Search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 vehicle units. Reveal them and draw them. Put the other cards on the bottom of your deck in a random order. Cool. I don't know. I mean, draw in this game seems a little bit less exciting to me than in other games, just because you're drawing 2 at the start of every turn. But if you need specific vehicles, this is really nice.
There's been a game or two where I was like digging for Home 1 because I'm like, that's gonna set up what I'm trying to do. So I'm sure there'll be, and we'll get into like some of the other green spoilers like Piet and the base that like, you might really need those to take advantage. So I think this will see some play in specific
I feel
decks.
like in any other game, this card would be insane.
Yeah.
For 2 resources.
Mm-hmm. If you built a vehicle strategy, that still feels really good. I don't feel like 2 is going to take you off that badly. And it's like, even if you whiffed altogether,
then
this is absolutely terrible. So it's so sad. But because you've lost a card in the end, totally whiffed, like you probably just instant lost the game. So that's why it's hard for me to think.
I feel like you only put this into a deck that has like a glut of vehicles.
Yeah, like I'm trying to win.
Too scary to whiff on something like this.
Can you even build an all vehicle deck though? That's what I'm going to be so curious about when we do get everything.
That'll be interesting to see if that's viable.
Because they made ground units stronger, like cost to cost basis. It feels like it's cool to have that like sprinkled in rather than. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have a lot more synergy with some vehicles, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one, which is an upgrade. It's a blue upgrade called Resilient. Costs 1, and it gives the unit that you attach it to +3 health.
There you go.
Not too much to say about it. I like this card. I think it's cool. Playing this on a leader is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Playing it on a unit with grit is
also
really
extra sweet.
Yeah. I've been loving this. I've been trying to build a lot of like Chewy Voltron decks with this because he's got grit and he already has 9 health as it is. I've also enjoyed playing this on my own units with Entrenched because they already get the 3 health boost, and then you get them even more so that they can just like keep just wrecking whatever units they play. So like C-3PO turns into like, this like 410
becomes just 000.
Yeah, he literally becomes 000. So yeah, I like it. It's not going to be in every deck, but it's value. Nice. And it'll be great in draft, I think.
Yeah.
I think in most games I'd see a card like this and just be like, I hate this card. I would never want to slot it in. If I top deck this card, I'm miserable. But exactly like you just said for the last card, where you're drawing 2 cards, I think 1 cost just serve a better purpose. Like you can, I just won't put anything into my resource pool. I'll just play them both.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel as bad a top deck because it's buffing and it's just giving you more things to do and more decision trees for your opponent to mess up.
Yeah, it's interesting comparing this to a card like Repair, which is like cost 1 and you heal something for 3. I think it's kind of better because you can preemptively do it and it synergizes better with grit. But yeah, cool card. Anyway, next one, but definitely a more interesting card. It's a 2-cost unit, ground unit, green villain, Admiral Piet, Captain of the Executor. And it is a 1/4 Imperial official. I didn't say any of the traits for the previous cards, but it's fine. You guys can read. Each friendly non-leader unit that costs 6 or more gains ambush. This card's so cool.
This card. I love this. I love this card. Absolutely. Because, because of the way this game, when stuff comes in exhausted, I mean, you risk paying a bunch of money to get absolutely no value out of it. So stuff like Relentless, that big old 9-cost thing, or the Blizzard AT feels kind of bad because you pay all these resources and then you can't do anything with that until hopefully next turn. Whereas like you might only have, at this point in the game at 6 or above, you might not have a lot more turns. So you need to get value out of what you're playing immediately. So if you can get him to stick on the board, and I mean, even just like an ATST, dropping it with Overwhelm to like kill a leader, get some damage on base. And then if they want to waylay it, you're like, all right, well, I got my value, or I got at least, one thing, and then I can play it next turn. So he's a little bit of, just insurance against the bounce effects.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess like if I'm playing this on 5, even if my opponent is like all aggro straight to the face, they're at least going to have to stop and think for a second of like, do I put 4 damage into this thing instead of just at the face for what could be coming at me?
Yeah, I think it's really good in Tarkin because, you can give this experience tokens. It has a pretty like beefy health pool to work with there. So, your opponent's unlikely to be able to kill this on their turn 2, and you can start giving this tokens. And it's a card that I think your opponent probably doesn't want to deal with. Like, it's not that exciting to try and remove this from the board, right? It doesn't feel like it's that making an impact. And so I think you hope that like by the time you get to make use out of it, it's just kind of stuck around. So I don't know. I do think it's cool. It enables a lot of like fun plays. So I think that's one of the reasons why I like it.
Big fun podcast here.
All right, moving on to Recruit, which is a 1-cost event. Search the top. Oh, it's green. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal it, and draw it. Put the other cards on the bottom, blah, blah, blah. Fine. I don't know if I ever actually put this one in a deck.
You'd have to have like a really important combo.
Yeah. You have to be playing combo, right?
Yeah.
And you really need whatever the card is that it finds. And it has to also not be a vehicle, because then the other card's better.
Yeah. Late game, this feels way better to me, because it's like, okay, I know what I'm trying to find, and it just takes the whole top deck element out of the play. But yeah, kind of similar to the draw 2 vehicles one, though. It's like, unless that is your entire strategy, whiff just feels so bad.
Yeah, it's not that exciting. Let's move on to the next one. Much more interesting card. We've got Colonel Yularen, a 2-cost ground unit, green, Imperial official. It's a 2/3. When you play a green unit, including this one, heal 1 damage from your base. And sweet. He is notably not a villain, which we can get into.
And he's ISB and he's Imperial on the card. I don't get that at all. I don't understand. I mean, my green hero decks will be grateful, but
look, he's just misunderstood. He's not evil. Okay.
I don't know if that's true.
I'm doing what I can over here for what they were thinking with this card.
I've seen Andor.
So.
Yeah, but this guy's awesome. I mean,
oh yeah, as a card,
great card, great card.
At 2, I mean, you're immediately just dropping a unit and healing 1.
Yeah,
and you got a 2/3 body.
Some sick anti-aggro tech right here.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna see a lot of this fella, old Colonel Sanders.
What do you think he's staring at there? What's going on that screen?
The triangles are moving down.
Super strikers.
Yeah, you've got you got the ball on the right wing. They're approaching. They're trying to score.
Would you ever run this play when you played soccer, David?
All the time, man. Colonel knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Is this play called the Colonel? Is
Herbs and spices is what we're calling it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right. Next up, we've got a very interesting card. It is a base called Energy Wow, I can't speak. Energy Conservation Lab. It's a green base.
Start over.
Energy Conversation Lab. Is that what it is?
No. You said conservation.
Yeah. Energy conversion. Wow. It's none of the options that I.
That was fun.
Wow. All right. Everybody got to witness the stroke that I just had. I am going to call it Energy Conversation Lab, though, from now on.
Absolutely.
Epic action. Well, okay. First off, it only has 25 health. So you're paying 5 health for this epic action. Mm-hmm. Play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand. Give it ambush for this phase. This is very cool.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's cool.
I like this. I don't know if it's worth 5 health, but I think it might be.
I feel like it could save you 5 health on a lot of instances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even if it doesn't, getting tempo feels good. So getting to put something in that kills their unit and you stay alive.
Yeah, getting a nice positive trade, like for free, basically. Well, for 5 health. Definitely cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like cool plays that you can do with the cards that we've seen so far.
So I was thinking about the red, the 4-cost red ship, the 4/1.
Ooh, okay. Ambush that in, draw a couple cards.
Yeah, if you have initiative, you draw 2 cards when it dies. So you could drop it in, because sometimes the risk is I'm going to play this and then I'm not going to have the initiative. I'm not going to be able to draw cards or whatever. So if you can do this on a turn, you do have initiative to go in. You get 4 damage in on something. 4 is not nothing, and then draw 2 cards off of it.
That's cool. Doing this with like Boba Fett is pretty cool, right? Like being able to give him an ambush seems pretty good. If he can, deal 3 damage to the thing that he's attacking.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the classic, like I said, ATST. It's got Overwhelm already, so you can play it.
What's the cost of ATST?
6.
Okay. Okay, and it's 6 or less. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like this because it's the kind of card that you look at and then it makes you look at every card that costs 6 or less a little bit differently. All right. Next up, we've got a blue villain card, 3 cost, ground unit, Death Trooper. And it is a 3/3. When played, deal 2 damage to a friendly ground unit and 2 damage to an enemy ground unit.
This card is sweet.
This card is very cool.
Put it in every grit deck you are ever going to use. You get to snipe one of their units, get more attack on your grit character. What more could you want?
Are there a lot of villain grit characters that we've seen yet?
I think we've only seen, there's that one we saw last night. It was the Motley Crue, the band picture, Rugged Survivors.
Oh, Rugged Survivors. Okay.
Yeah. But also, like, keep in mind, this is like a clear Krennic synergy, because Krennic gives +1/+0 to
your damaged characters.
Damaged characters. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I was watching a game earlier on YouTube. The late night guys streamed something with the garbage rollers, and he managed to get, like, basically his whole, like, all of his ground units damaged. They all had these buffs. It was really,
that's cool.
And Death Trooper helps in a lot of that. So yeah,
I mean, it does a lot on play for 3. I mean, that's just such a great early turn play or later to kind of get over the hump. So a lot of flexibility with this card.
Yeah. Especially early game. A lot of value. Two cost units only have 2 health, so you could you're just putting them behind on board immediately, even if you have to damage your own Death Trooper to do it.
I feel like 2/3 is like a fairly common 2 cost character stat line. So you probably don't want to do it this way, but you play your 2/3, you attack into theirs, you play this, and being able to like finish something off that's already got a little bit of damage on it is also nice.
Yeah. Could you just ping him for 2 instead? Like you could just ping the Death Trooper.
Yeah, you could, couldn't you?
It doesn't say other.
Yeah, you could.
So you keep them both alive.
I think you actually have to if you don't have any other units in play.
Yeah. And the art is sweet.
That's cool. Yeah, art's great on that card. All right, moving on. We've got Agent Kallus, a 5-cost green ground unit, 4/4, ambush. And when another unique unit is defeated, you may draw a card. Use this ability only once each round.
I love ambush units, especially on the ground side, because there typically is always something there. Hitting for 4 with ambush feels really good too. It's a little costly at 5, but I found in my early games with this, there are most games, if I'm hitting 5, I'm playing Kallus at 5. Because the other thing is, if they have a unique unit and you're able to snipe it, great. If you're not allowed to, Kallus doesn't have to be the one to kill it.
Sure, it's just while he's on the board.
Yeah, it's like while he's on the board, so you can time this differently if you don't want him to take damage. So I like him.
Yeah, I feel like this is a card that will start out pretty cool and then fade out, but I like him for the time being.
I could see that. Yeah, maybe you want a little bit more spice for your 5-cost and up cards, but yeah,
he does get buffed by Veers, with the Imperial trait. So I kind of wonder if there's like some Trooper trait synergy too.
Yeah, I do like the amount of like buffs to the traits that this game already has. I think a lot of games dabble in that, but then never really go into it. And this game feels like it really is leaning into the traits.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
It can get dangerous, but
it makes it feel more Star Wars because you're encouraged to play thematic pairings together, right? Like if you're building an Imperial deck so that you can get your Imperial synergy, thing going, you're going to have a very thematic deck that plays a bunch of Imperial stuff, right? Same with Rebels. So I hope that that's something that they continue with. It feels very Star Wars, right? So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. And
I think as long as it's not so streamlined that like your full like list of 50 is just like these cards, I would rather the theme be there, especially for Star Wars.
Yeah.
As long as they get the heroes and villains thing right.
100%. All right. Next up, we've got a leader. We've got Sabine Wren. She is a red hero leader with, on the leader side, action, exhaust her to deal 1 damage to each base. And an epic action, if you control 4 or more resources, deploy this leader. So she flips on 4. And she is a 2/5 with on attack, deal 1 damage to each enemy base.
Hello, aggro.
Yeah, very explosive.
Red hero.
That's your favorite.
I mean,
are you the aggro player these days?
Does Red Hero feel the same in this game as it did in Destiny 2?
No.
Maybe not with this card.
A little bit. Oh my gosh. Sabine we are going to hear a lot about Sabine. She just puts the game on a clock. It is from turn one, you know, and it's just saying deal with this, and then asking you to have an answer on turn 3 because you start with 2 resources. So turn 3, when she comes in as a unit, she's just more just Sabine Byrne. This is she is very, very powerful.
Yep. We played a couple games. Well, actually, no, we just played one, right?
Yeah.
Played Luke into Sabine, and you dealt a lot of damage that game. I healed something like 15 or 18 health and still lost. So
I forgot. You played 3 vigilance and she still burned through all
she still burned through all of that. So
what's crazy is because like decks like this typically are built to where they can just barely get over the hump. And if you're able to stall out, it doesn't. But I mean, if that's how that game played out, it's like, oh, that's scary. Because it almost feels like if you come to the field with like a 25 health base, you're just like,
which is what I did, which I shouldn't.
Yeah, you're like, what did I just do?
I mean, in this game, because you're drawing 2 cards every turn, it seems like aggro is sort of has a unique advantage in this game compared to other games where
that's a good point.
Yeah, like if you're Lorcana or Magic or a game where you're drawing only 1 card per turn, it's a lot slower when you get to that point where you've burned all the cards in your hand because you went so fast early game. Having 2 cards every turn is a lot more for your opponent to keep up with. They're also only drawing 2 cards a turn. So it's harder for, I mean, I don't know if we've seen like I don't know, real control deck show up yet in Star Wars Unlimited like we have, you know, in other games that we play yet, but this seems very fast and doesn't run out of gas because you do draw 2 cards every turn. Like you can stop resourcing at 4. Right? So then you have extra cards in your hand from that, and then you also get to draw 2 cards every turn. So
it's like if home 1 is the control style, it's like, are you ever going to be able to play home 1 to even like with how fast this goes? Like
I don't know. Yeah.
If all the control decks are like it requires that late of game, like that's gonna be tough.
I don't think home 1 is the control style. I think
that's fair. I just meant like the idea of like
more the yellow stuff, the waylays and
yellow and blue maybe.
The shoot first, yellow blue with like shields. Like shields feel more control-y, like or like entrenched.
Takedown,
I can't do anything.
Entrenched, vanquish. Yeah.
That's a good point.
What would Jay say about this card?
Listen, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna play Sabine. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think you just agree with this.
I appreciate the attempt. All right. Next up, we've got a green upgrade. Costs 2. It's called Hardpoint Heavy Blaster. Attached to a vehicle unit. So that's pretty cool. It's an upgrade specifically for a vehicle. Attached unit gains on attack if this unit isn't attacking a base. You may deal 2 damage to a unit in the defender's arena. And it gives the vehicle +2/+2 as well. So it's like 2/2 worth of stats for 2 plus an ability that lets you deal 2 more damage to whatever you're attacking or whatever thing you want to attack.
Is that a really convoluted way of saying deal 2 damage to another enemy vehicle unit?
It doesn't have to be a vehicle that you're
not
attacking.
Vehicle.
But it says in the defender's arena. So if you're fighting a vehicle,
you've got ground vehicles.
Yeah, there's ground vehicles.
Snowspeeder, ATSD.
Checks out.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not found a place for this yet that I want to play this. A lot of times because the ground vehicle units are really expensive. And not very good.
I mean, you can put this on a space vehicle, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think
I just don't know.
A lot of times in the space side, there's no units to like take advantage of that ability. So it feels like, are you really getting that much advantage? But
I mean, 2/2 is fine.
There's 2 things I'll say about it. One is upgrades are always going to be worse than units because you just get rid of the unit and then you lose both the unit and the upgrade. The other side is that you get to use this attack and health and ability right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's some, benefits to weigh there, but in general, I don't know. I'm not that excited about this card. I feel like might be a little hard to like find room for in a deck. If it like gave a unit a shield when it entered play 2 or something like that to help keep it alive, I think that'd be a lot more interesting. Or gave it more health. I don't know. But all right. Anyway, we've got our next card, Kanan Jarrus, who is a 4-cost blue hero card. ground unit, obviously. Force Jedi Rebel Spectre. And we've now seen a handful of Spectres, so that is relevant with his card text. He's a 4/5. I don't know if I mentioned that. On attack, you may discard one card from the defending player's deck for each friendly Spectre unit. Heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among the discarded cards. So that's pretty cool. This, you could heal a lot with this.
Yeah, because you could pull a green villain thing and heal 2.
Yeah, and then you could also pull like a red card and then heal 3. Because you could discard more than one card from their deck, right?
Sure. Yeah. If you have multiple Spectres.
And then if you're playing against you and you're playing a bunch of off aspect cards, I could heal even more.
True. Yeah. I really like Kanan. I think they nailed his design. I think he feels powerful. He comes in at 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's real nice and early. I've thought like he's one that I've messed with in that Chewie deck. We're trying to making him into the Voltron of like,
nice.
Give him the Luke's lightsaber and the resilient, and let him get a few more attacks. I could also see an argument for throwing entrenched on him because he already has 5 health, and so if he's just entrenched, it's like anything you put out there, I'm gonna kill and I'm gonna heal.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
I am a little concerned on his artwork. What is he actually blocking, and is he getting shot?
No, I like his artwork. I think he's reflecting 1 or 2 blaster bolts. I think they're being reflected.
It just looks like one is hitting him right in the chin, and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry."
Like if you look at the where the streaks are, they're going like away from the lightsaber. So I think the bolts are being reflected.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just from where I saw the vantage point, I was like, "Oh no, Kanan, what happened?" So that makes me feel better.
I mean, he did die. So
well, sorry for anyone who hasn't seen that yet. Obviously, I have, but not everybody knows.
5-year-old spoiler? I don't know. Probably more than that at this point. If you've not watched Rebels, you've done yourself a disservice.
Well, what are you doing,
Jim? All right. Next up, we've got another Sabine Wren. This time as a ground unit, a 2-cost red hero ground unit. So you can play this in the same Sabine deck as your Sabine leader.
Which is so weird.
Will want to, because it is a 2/3 with 2 abilities. 1, while there are at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this unit cannot be attacked unless you gain Sentinel. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base.
That's so good.
This card is real good.
This is auto include in any
red hero deck.
Red hero. Yeah.
This might be the best 2-cost card that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it does say among other friendly creatures. So in theory, you'd have to have 2 other creatures out there.
Well, first, I don't see the word creature anywhere on this
creatures.
card.
Honestly, good point. That's on me.
The creatures are in the conversation lab.
Right.
We haven't seen a Rancor yet, so.
But when we do, so like
then you might be able to see the word creature on a Star Wars Unlimited card.
I hope so. Okay, but it's not self-referential, so you do have to have 2 other units. Out on the field. So if you're already like cooking like that, you're really pushing the agenda there. But still sweet, even if it doesn't have that ability.
Even without that ability, like just attacking as a 3/3 for 2. Is real good, and it's a 3/3 with upside because you can either, if the thing you're attacking only has 1 health, you just kill it before it deals damage to you, and if you are already going to kill it, you get to deal damage to the base instead.
Yep.
So,
or I guess you could,
or you can attack their base, and no, you can't. Never mind.
It'd have to be to defend. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I got ahead of my brain there, and she is obviously also a Spectre and Mandalorian and Rebel. So those Rebel and Spectre we know are relevant. Mandalorian at some point, have to assume that will be relevant.
Obviously.
All right. We have a handful of cards left, so let's get through these real quick. We've got Ezra Bridger, a 3-cost yellow hero. 3/4, Force Rebel Spectre. When this unit completes an attack, look at the top card of your deck. You may play it, discard it, or leave it on top of your deck. What y'all think?
I like it quite a bit.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah. I really like it. I mean, it's just value at those stats, like at a 3/3/4.
Yeah.
And then being able to potentially pop down a nice little surprise. Yeah.
I mean, you basically have to draw an extra card every turn when you do this. I mean,
right.
if you can afford to play it, but just being able to scout it too is really nice.
Yep.
You can also use this in concert with R2 if you don't have C3PO.
Oh, true.
And you just want to draw it.
Yeah, that's a fun little combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there synergy between this and that one like really bad hero card?
Oh, You're My Only Hope or whatever.
Yeah, that one. What does that one say again? I gotta find it.
I don't know.
As you zoned out immediately when you watched the card.
I was like, this thing is not good.
Look at the top card of your deck. You may play it. It costs 5 less. If your base has 5 or less remaining health, you may play it for free instead. So not really. I remembered the words top of your deck and thought it might work, but
I mean, theoretically, you can leave it on top of your deck so you could look at it and be like, oh, I have 5 or less health, and this is where I don't know. It's just.
But I mean, if you're paying 3 to play a 5 cost, best case scenario, it's still not good.
No, it's still not great.
But this card,
but Ezra's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got 3 cost space unit Consortium Star Viper. It is green. I'm saying all these things out of order every time. I know that.
Conversation Star Viper.
It's a 3/3. Yeah, Conversation Star Viper. It's a 3/3 fringe vehicle fighter. While you have the initiative, this unit gains Restore 2.
Yeah. I thought about this as in the conversation lab. Like being able to drop this with ambush to try to sneak in some heal. Which and if for some reason you had home 1 out already, it's maybe Magical Christmas.
Okay, interesting with home 1, I suppose.
But yeah, so it's probably not good, but you can fit this in hero or villain and maybe potentially get some surprise.
This seems like a classic draft card to me.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Because if green's trying to go wide, at least like green hero,
you're not gonna
have the initiative that often.
Yeah.
So, but
with Leia, you might.
Maybe.
But
you can't even like use this to help you go faster with Leia.
These stats are fine though for a space unit. Like that's kind of what you're looking for anyway.
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't have Restore 2, it's fine for what you're getting.
Yeah. Are there 3/2 for 2 space units yet, or no? Is that a thing? Have we seen one of those?
Space units?
Yeah.
Or even
are they 2/3s? Because Alliance X-Wing is like a 2/3, right?
All the Imperial stuff is like the TIE Interceptor, the TIE Advance.
Oh, okay. This just dies to TIE Interceptor, so that's probably bad.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're 3/2s. Yeah.
Well, we've got 2 cards left. So one is Takedown, cost 4. It's a blue card. An event. Defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. This card is nuts.
Take that, Sabine.
Yeah. I wish that I had this card when I was playing against you the other day.
Sentinel ain't stopping this.
Yeah, this is very good.
This thing is nuts. Now, I think the obvious comparison is Vanquish. The counterpart at 5 costs. It's defeat any non-leader unit. Doesn't matter health or anything. So there's been some questions like, do you just want to take Vanquish over Takedown, but again, Vanquish can't get rid of leaders. And we had many games. Again, I played Vigilance out of Aspect, or I guess paying the Aspect penalty, because you can destroy a unit with 3 or less health, and it's not tied to lead. It's not non-leaders. So this is even better for the cost. So
yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so far I think this is
shields.
Like the best removal that we've seen in the game. Like 5 things that have 5. Things that have more than 5 health don't come out that often. And when they do, you can just knock them down to 5 or less. Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Last one. We've got Grand Inquisitor as a leader. He is a red villain leader. His ability is action, exhaust, Grand Inquisitor, deal 2 damage to a friendly unit with 3 or less power, and ready it. And then the epic action, if you control 6 or more resources, deploy this leader. And on the flip side, it's a 3/6 Force Imperial Inquisitor. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to another friendly unit with 3 or less power and ready it. So, I don't know. This feels either combo-y or like really aggressive, where you just want to be hitting people with the units that you play and you don't care that they're getting damaged or dying. Obviously, cool with grit.
Definitely, but it's like you can only do it once. You know what I mean? Like, how often would you be able to deal 4 damage to a unit to get to ready it twice?
Yeah, not very many. I think it's going to be the case where, like, you know, you play a card from your hand, and then the card that you just played is the one that you deal the damage to and ready, right?
Sure. So it's like give everything. Well, it's not even ambush because it's
because you can attack base. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that's where the power lies, is being able to attack base with the cards that you play, the turn that you play them. It just comes down to whether or not there's enough units that you can actually do this with and get value, because you don't want to do this to something like we've seen a lot of stuff that has 2 health. Now, obviously they just die. So they need to not just die.
Like, obviously we're like, Veers is going to come up a lot because Veers is so much value. He gives every Imperial +1/+1.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Inquisitor is Imperial, so the Grand Inky gets all buffed from Veers, but Veers also makes it more possible to be able to do this ability.
Yeah,
because he's given more health. So that's where my brain went initially. So I think we just need to see more. And obviously October is aggression month, so today's October 1st. So
be able to see a few more cards that this will hopefully synergize with.
Yeah.
I was thinking pairing this with yellow, because I think Boba Fett is a pretty good target for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like what you said about the combo-y stuff of, like, if there's a lot of, like, on attack triggers that you could do some cool stuff, right? With this with. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's kind of bad, but you can use this with Mahdi, right? You can use, like, you can just ping your own Mahdi with this and ready something bigger than 3 power.
Like itself.
Yeah.
I mean, great.
That's kind of spicy, honestly.
The Inquisitor can just
on attack, and just ready itself.
Could potentially do this a couple times. Do it to Mahdi, and
he doesn't. I wish that he had a little bit more power on the unit side. Honestly, for 6, like it's 3/6, but I guess you're baking into that the additional power of whatever you're going to be attacking twice with.
Yeah.
Or whatever you played that you wouldn't have been able to attack with otherwise.
Yep.
It's funny you guys brought up that combo, though, just because that does seem like one of those combos that they always have to keep in the back of their mind of, like, is there a way to make Mahdi go infinite?
Well, Mahdi will die, right? So at least there's...
Sure. As long as there's no way to give it, like in Disney Lorcana, where they just came up with the new keyword where it's like everything takes 1 less damage. If this game ever has something like that, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, this also good with shields, right? So maybe you pair this with blue and give stuff shields, and you're dealing damage to your units, but they're not actually taking any. That could be cool.
It does seem like most of the shielding is in hero, not villain, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's at least one neutral one, but I don't think it's very good. All right, well, we've reached the end. That was all of the unlimited cards that we have seen so far, and I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Come chat about them in our Discord.
Yeah,
we got lots of conversation going.
That's right.
Yep, I'll be in there once a week. See you there.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.